I've been telling web designers for years to just do the design and then hand off the development. But today I'm doing something different because I feel like the industry has shifted. So today I'm going to actually walk you through my process of designing and building a website, all in Framer with the help of AI agents. And I'm going to be sharing some tips at the end of my learnings with this experiment and how you can specialize in the web design industry with these changes happening. Let's go. Hello my friend, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Adrian Somoza, former lead designer at MediaMonks, and I focus now on helping freelance web designers grow their businesses to be financially peaceful and creatively challenging. And I partnered with Framer to make this video for you because Framer is an awesome tool to take a website all the way from design to published without the need of handing it off to a developer. So if you want to test it out, make sure to use my coupon code BONT2 for 30% off 1 year of Framer Pro. The link is below. And before we jump in, I also prepared a free golden Canon grid. More than 10,000 students have downloaded and are trying it out. Link is below as well. So let's start with my process, okay? So here is the rundown of my steps, okay, to make this type of websites. First, I start with the art direction and the branding. This is the process. You can see how I go through pins and I go through, pins of pins, right? And I really get into websites and using them and trying them out to be able to have an idea and, kind of saturate my mind with ideas to be able to implement in my own designs. I think the quality of your input determines the quality of your output. So I think this step in the process is crucial to be able to create websites that are unique. So once you do that and you have at least 100 pins, that's the amount of pins I recommend, right? You want to be able to create this graphic universe and really expand it to have a lot of references so that you're not really copying from one specific reference. But once you have that, then the next step is to build the brand assets if you don't have them. In my case, because I was doing something from scratch, I had to do it from scratch, so I didn't have them. Once I had those assets, the next step was to create the copy for the storytelling of the website. As you have seen, there's some text and some animations going with the text. So to do that, you first need to start with words. And I'm going to be doing a video, talking more in depth about that, but just know that you can use AI to be able to create, just spit it all the ideas that you have in your head and ask AI to help you create a series of slides with text, right, to explain the service and the value proposition of the company that you're designing for. In my case, it was a luthier. So, I actually had a concept in my mind, which was like telling the story of how it goes from seed to a built guitar. What's the process there? You can think of many ways to tell stories in order to have the content that you will then visualize with your design decisions. So it all starts with art direction, branding, and then creating the content for the website. That's the way you can do custom-made websites. Okay, this is an exercise. I did something simple and fast for you to understand the idea. It's not an award-winning website, but at least to give you an idea of what you can do. And then I started working on the embossed logo tweaks. Okay, so basically you can see here how I was playing around with, some shaders inside of Framer and trying out some things. The true process is much more spontaneous, and you go do something and then you try something else and then you advance with, you go back to the logo. So that was what I was doing, right? In this case, I was working with the slides here and then going back to the hero, then again going back to a slide, trying some things here, then going back to the logo, right? Of course, it's not so linear, but at least, I just want to give you like an overview of the process that I went through. So then I said, okay, let me finish the embossed logo and let me also build the hero around it. And I was doing something that shined above the surface And so I started doing that. And for that, you can see here, it coded something custom for me where, I asked for controls so that I could also have a response to the mouse movement, right? That was the first iteration. Then I removed that and I made it like a shine, automatic shine that kind of rotates. But I could control the colors, I could control the speed, right? By just asking for those controls. So here you can see the controls, right, that the logo component had. So I could tweak the bevel, the light distance, the shadow lift, the smoothness, and change the image. So whatever I dropped in there, it would add the effect to. Okay, so it was a very cool component that I think it's really cool that now with AI agents you can just prompt it to create this type of components and ask for the parameters to tweak in the handles, and that's it. You have the controls, you have the ability to tweak it to your liking, all without writing a single line of code. So things that were crazy to build back in the days, and now it's super simple and you can look like a pro without doing the work. So then, like I said, I started building out the hero, right? Dropping the elements. You can also drop an image and AI will kind of build it for you. So I kind of did something like that, and then I tried adding some background effects to make it a little bit more interesting. Now looking back, I think this iteration of the background shaders maybe even looked better than the one I have now. But anyways, you can always go back, and I could go back if I wanted. But anyways, so that's how it looked. It was rotating automatically. And then I started playing around with the slides and the scroll. And of course, I looked at Framer's tutorials so that I could understand and actually explain the AI agent how to build it in a way that made sense for me in terms of the responsiveness and the behavior that I wanted to create. And after some trial and error, I ended up with something that I think I'm very happy with. And then I started adding like details to each of the slides. So playing around with each slide, adding some custom details to each one of them to make them look more unique and to kind of visualize the story that I was telling with text. I always talk about this, you want to also visualize the story that you're telling with your words, so that it's not just words, but actually something visual, okay? So here I was adding rays of light so that I could visualize a tree spends decades reaching for light, okay? And so each of the slides will get something unique about it that will help tell the story and connect the dots between what the text says and what I'm seeing visually, okay? And finally, I started creating the responsive behavior, okay? So I asked the AI agent, it did it for me in one pass, and then I started iterating on top of it to adjust and make custom variants for mobile so that I could tweak it to my liking. And then two last things that I didn't really record because I was like at 8 gigabytes of screen recordings at this point. But one thing that I almost one-shotted and I was very impressed was this loading animation that you can see here. So this loading animation, I just asked for an award-winning loading animation. I asked for some parameters for the speed and things like that. And I told it to break it up into rectangles that shrink from left to right and bottom to top. And this was the final result, guys. I think I'm very happy with how it turned out. And then, I added this little videos because I felt like it was very abstract and I wanted to really anchor the hero so that it was very clear what this website was about, right? It says luthier, it says from Portugal, and now you can also see the luthier working on the wood and the final result being used, right? So you can kind of bridge the gap between his work and the result that you get from it, right from the hero. So I think that's a very important thing for any hero. And I feel like this logo here with the rotating shine kind of gives it a premium look to it, okay? And I also did like a shine effect for the button that was almost at the beginning, and then a pressed effect. And then as you scroll, the frame kind of stays in place, and there are some effects like this going on as you scroll, right? So the line appears, then Cole listens to the wood before he ever cuts it, and then these kind of lines are kind of cut in a way. And then his hands give it a new voice, yours to play. And then it's also responsive, so as you shrink the page, everything stays in place. And here the button gets fixed to the bottom so that it's easy to tap with the finger, and everything else stays in place. And you can see it in all of its glory in both tablet, mobile, and desktop. So let me actually show you tablet as well. This would probably be tablet, so you can scroll through it. And it works like a charm. By the way, if you want to structure websites like this with an unconventional grid, then remember to download my free Golden Canon Grid course that comes with 5 tips to compose beautiful layouts with it. The link is below. So here are my top tips for you, okay? And the things that I learned from trying the AI agent with ThemeFramer and how it works together with the tool, okay? The first thing is start with understanding the program, not just blindly prompting and hoping for the best. You want to have an understanding of how the program works so that you can direct the AI agent to do the work for you in the right way, okay? If you explain the program, how you want it to be built, right? How you want the component to be built, how you want the layers to be built, or the responsive behavior to be built, then it's going to be much more efficient at executing that for you within the tool using the native tools that Framer has. So tip number 2 that ties to that is chat with the AI agent first. So kind of talk with AI to be able to come up with a proper prompt, right? And build a proper prompt for what you want to do. That's the best way that you can get the most out of the AI agent and in the least amount of tries. Why? Because when you're kind of typing your prompt, you're probably going to miss a lot of things. So by chatting with AI and even asking the agent to ask you clarifying questions to sharpen the idea, right, of the prompt, it will help you one-shot it much better than if you're just, thinking what you want from the top of your mind. And AI will help you write a very detailed prompt that the AI agent can then use for executing your idea. Tip number 3 is I would recommend this for freelance web designers who already have clients and they want to build small to medium scale websites. This one is very small, like it's one landing page. You can do this probably with practice in 2 days, 3 days. And the good thing of doing a marketing website like this is that you can probably charge 3 to 5K for both the design and the development of a website like this. I've seen even, higher prices for similar websites. Maybe 1 or 2 more pages, but not something super complex, and maybe with 2-3 more days of work you can charge even up to 20K. Okay, I'm just throwing numbers here, but I worked at agencies designing a website like this and having developers build it, and we got to charge up to 20K for a website similar to this with a couple more pages. Okay, so bear in mind that this, I think, has a lot of potential because you can build something really cool, have full control over the final result, go from idea to execution yourself without handing anything off to someone else. And by just spending $100-$200, I don't know how much, but not that much in terms of AI credits, you can get to amazing results that you can charge 3, 5, who knows, even 10 or 20K per website. Okay, so I think this is best suited for people who have clients and they just want to have like a turbo to be able to create these websites faster and get, keep more profit. Because if it took you 2 weeks to build this and you charge 5K, it's not the same as if it takes you half of that. And it's well worth paying, a few $100s to be able to fast track 1 week of work. If that was the case, and we follow the logic of the math, right? If it takes you 1 week instead of 2, you can do 4 of those in a month instead of 2. So you follow me, right? Now, tip number 4 is, here's what the agent I think is genuinely great at, okay? First off, it fixes things like scroll behaviors or bugs, right? You can screenshot the bug, explain it, and it fixes the bug for you, often in a couple of iterations. It's awesome at doing systematic work that requires a lot of clicking, but very simple tasks. Like, for example, you can add systematically reveal animations for all paragraphs, for example, in one prompt, and describe the animation. Again, the more detailed you are, the better the results and the less iterations. But you can ask AI to do it for you, and it will basically go through the whole landing page and apply the same animations systematically to all the paragraphs for you, so you can save hours of manual work. You can also create a design system, you can create buttons, you can create variants. It can do the responsive behavior for you, and then you can tweak from there, right? But it has like a basic understanding. And it's also awesome for new components or specific behaviors for an ML element. Like I said, for example, the loading animation. I was blown away. I just asked in a detailed way, but I asked in one prompt and it almost one-shotted the result. Now, here's how I would specialize as a web designer today. Like I said, for years, I said, just do the design and hand off the development. But experimenting with Framer and now the AI agents changed my mind. Now I think that the gap between idea and execution has been bridged in a way that I think it makes sense for freelance web designers to learn to use Framer to build, again, small to medium-sized websites. And the great thing about that is that you can then also charge for the same client, both the design and the development. And if I were you guys, I would also do the branding as well. Like I did in this example, I would do the branding, the web design, and the web development. And I would almost say the web design and development process now is kind of like an iterative process within the same program where you design and try it out at the same time, almost. Like you're trying out how it works and prototyping how your ideas work in reality to really test out and see if you like it or not, what you want to tweak, what you want to leave. Now, remember, if you want to keep improving your web design layouts with an unconventional grid, then download the Golden Canon Grid version 3.0 free mini course below. That's it for today, guys. If you learned something, give it a like, subscribe, and share this video with a colleague or friend that might find it helpful. And as always, let's bridge the gap one pixel at a time.